Marc T. Muffley and or Maffley, born July 1982 apparently, had hidden a quick-fused, hobby-fused, 3-inch diameter firework. They're making it sound like it was a flat pancake explosive, but we don't know. This was in the lining of a suitcase that also contained a cordless drill, 2 ground fault circuit interrupt breaker outlets that were taped together, a butane lighter, and a refill can for it, and white powder residue in some sort of pipe. The word pipe can mean that it's a pipe for smoking something, or it could be a metal tube or a plastic tube. They're not being specific. He attempted to place all of this at the same time for some reason on an Alliant Airlines flight from Lehigh Valley International Airport, Allentown, Pennsylvania, to Orlando Sanford International Airport in Sanford, Florida. By 11 a.m., it was found and not going to go anywhere. And by 11:40 a.m., they paged him because they were trying to get him to, quietly come forward, which probably isn't going to happen. And by 5 minutes later, he was leaving the building. By 2 p.m., the explosive incendiary device, etc., was removed. The reason there's question as to what it is depending on what it does when you set it off and whether or not he knew it would do that. He could claim that it was literally just him making a firework and just trying to smuggle it. Or he was going to set it off. If it had a fuse in it, only an idiot would build something like that and not assume that it could go off. And he had added slow burning fuse, timer fuse. Well, maybe not. We have to know what kind. If it's cannon fuse, you could call it a timer fuse. And, of course, the other kind. Unless it had some sort of electronics to ignite it, this could not be considered an actual time bomb or a bomb for taking out an airplane. So this, at this point, would be very likely to be what the FBI arrested him for. Possession of or attempt to place or have placed an incendiary and or explosive device on an airplane. That's the most extreme charge. The other charge would be smuggling fireworks. We don't know yet. He's been in a lot of trouble over his existence, and here's the thing. He's a known quantity, and his information is non-private. Abbott Street is listed in Lansford, Pennsylvania, where they caught him. And they show the address that matches Maffley or Muffley, just changing one letter of the alphabet, or more accurately, a letter U misinterpreted visually and typed wrong by somebody typing in something somewhere. It's actually Muffley. Born in July 1982, had previously lived in DeLon Springs, Florida, which may be near where he was going. That identity only matches one human being with the same age range. Don't know his actual birthday. That's what I was able to grab off the internet from, instant checkmate style websites, as well as the hardest thing of all to get rid of. Websites that list people who live on properties for the purpose of real estate brokers. Yeah, don't worry about your neighbors or ex-girlfriends or whatever dumping information on the internet about you and it getting picked up on instant checkmate. It's the real estate brokers that do this because they basically make a permanent record of everybody who's ever lived anywhere and time and date stamps. It doesn't say you're the one who trashed the apartment or the house. And then they put up associated with rather than related to because that's considered a more generalized statement. But yeah, this is real estate broker stuff. I got this off of real estate websites. If you look up the addresses along there, you can find it if you take a long time. The photo of it, however, showed the number 30 on the front, and I guessed it was East Abbott Street. And I found it. Number 30 East Abbott Street. GPS location will be listed below. If any of you were looking for any more information than that, this is the part I'm going to give. This is very likely the person involved making a firework, a flat pancake one, maybe, but it's only 3 inches. Okay, here's the list. Warning, I'm not an expert in explosives, but I play one on TV. This could be a shape charge, a 3-inch shape charge. They didn't specify what it was in. If it was in a container with a dented-in round piece, even the bottom of a soda can, it could be a shape charge. That's for cutting through cement. What else could it be? Well, if it was truly flash powder, that would almost but not quite work. It needs to be a higher velocity, but it could be an attempt at it. It was only 3 inches across, and it was stitched into the lining of a suitcase. Also, the descriptions that are given everywhere is that it was detected using one of those full-color 3D X-ray pieces of equipment that does a lot of diversity send and receive data to try to figure out what's inside of the container. He might have just been transporting it. They're kind of dancing around the idea of whether or not the fast or slow wick were connected and placed inside of anything. And let's get the ground fault interrupt power outlet. They're just power outlets. He probably taped them together so they wouldn't rattle around much, probably to keep the screws from coming out. That's actually a pretty common thing to do. You don't, there's nothing, I mean, even though it's a breaker, it's not really suspicious. The cordless drill, they list it as a wireless drill on a couple of websites, which I'm not even sure how, I mean, what is that, an AI writing that article? Anyway, the butane lighter and a refill can are pretty common. Now we get to the white powder residue in a pipe. It might have just been a pipe. For those of you who don't know, some pipes that are brand new from a smoke shop will have a kind of a ashen color to them. The powder material looking thing makes people annoyed, but they're like, no, that's just the way it shows up if it's not been used for a long time. He could have just had an ordinary pipe with nothing in it at all, or it could have been a crack pipe. It could have, and a butane lighter and refill can that go with it. And as for the ground fault interrupt outlets, I don't know why he would have those. But this could just be a 3-inch diameter, really skinny, flat firecracker. And he might have wrapped it with slow fuse and attached it or put it near the fast fuse. And then again, it might not be that. If they show a picture of it, which I don't know if you notice this, but every time one of these stories come out, until someone has been grilled and interrogated to see what their true intentions are, we don't get to see that someone's carrying something innocuous. It could just be a firecracker that he was illegally transporting on an airplane, which is an amateurishly stupid move. I mean, really, if you're gonna sneak fireworks across from Washington State into Oregon, you do a better job than that. So anyway, at about 11 a.m. it was found. By 11:40, they paged him. 11:45, he was running away. And by 2 p.m., the explosive was removed from the place because they have to be really careful about it. But then again, it could just be literally just a firework that he wrapped a longer fuse around and just stuffed in a pocket and then stitched it shut, trying to keep it from being found by bomb-sniffing dogs, which doesn't work, of course. They said it was stitched into the lining. For those of you who don't know, I've worked in a luggage shop, yes. I know it's terrifying. And a lot of luggage came from airports. And we found all sorts of crap that had been in a pocket that fell through the pocket and got in the lining of the bag. This could be a completely innocent person. It's technically possible. Although him running away 5 minutes after being paged probably isn't a good look. But anyway, they'll decide what it is and they'll decide what they prosecute him for. But until we see what this thing actually looked like, I mean, they mentioned duct tape and stuff like that in some pages. Other pages, they said that isn't going on. Unless we find out what the original item was, this sounds like maybe he was transporting an altered firework where he increased the power by putting more propellant in it. In any case, he broke some damn law, and obviously being on an airplane with anything that can go boom or catch on fire is grossly illegal if they won't let me come on the plane with shampoo. I don't have a crew cut, I have a clear cut, but I still have to wash my hair. Anyway, Marc T. Muffley, or Maffley, July 1982, East Abbott Street, Lansford, Pennsylvania, number 30. It's open data, it's not a violation of privacy. And he could be completely innocent, I doubt it, or he could just be an idiot trying to smuggle stuff, or he may have made a really lame attempt to blow up the airplane. If he checked the baggage, he wouldn't be able to blow it up because he'd have to have some sort of way of setting it off. So my opinion here is he probably did something illegal by making and altering it and trying to transport it, but he probably put it in a pocket and then it fell through a hole in the pocket into the lining. It was stitched in a lining. You know, I've had people say stuff like that. Remember, the FBI and the police don't actually have to tell the public anything factually accurate if they don't want to. They can tell them what they need them to hear so they can get more information out of people. Now, unrelated to this, on the same road across the division, so it was in West Abbott Street in Lansford, Pennsylvania, there was an incident of a pipe bomb in the area. And everybody in the area is really sensitive to it. But this does not appear to be a pipe bomb. It appears to be straight firework. Hope I didn't waste your time. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Good luck with it.